Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with Jack Catterall. Jack, you're fighting on the Big Ellen Road bill this weekend. Just want to talk a bit about your future plans. You, not too long ago, relinquished the British title, which you won from Tyrone Nurse back in October last year. What was the thought process behind relinquishing the belt?
When I fought for the British, when the fight got proposed, it was a fight that made sense at the time, but to defend the British outright was never in the plans initially. I was over the moon. It's a very special belt in world boxing, British boxing, so I was over the moon, but my aspirations are to keep pushing on European world titles, so I believe in my promoter, my management team, that we can secure them fights, so we'll relinquish the British and hopefully can push on and capture some big fights.
And for people that may not know about this kind of thing, is one of the reasons then for relinquishing the British title is that they would impose certain obligations in terms of who you were going to fight, whereas now you're free to fight whoever you want?
Of course, yeah. Obviously the British Boxing Board call upon mandatory situations for who you're fighting next, where once I vacated the British title now, there's options now for a lot of different fights to be made.
You're currently WBO number 4. You've got number 1 and number 2 are fighting for the vacant title, Terry Flanagan and Maurice Hooker. What do you make of that fight? How do you see it panning out?
Yeah, I've not watched Hooker too closely. I have seen a few of his fights though, and obviously I've been boxing on quite a few of Terry's cards for the last couple of years. Me and Terry have done a lot of sparring, so I wish Terry all the best for the fight though. I really do hope he wins that fight, because I know he won't say so, but I believe the fight can be made in the future between me and Terry, and it's a fight that I'm confident with, so I'll be going June the 9th, watching him and supporting him, hoping he can bring it back to Manchester.
How long has it been since you and Terry last sparred?
It's got to be probably over 18 months.
And is that a conscious decision because you're both heading towards that world level, and obviously Terry's been there at lightweight, but heading towards that world level at 10 stone now?
Yeah, like I've sparred Terry, and the gyms, like we're all local to each other really, and for me it's just it's boxing's a business, and Terry's just in the way of where I want to get to. I've been on the WBO route now for 3 or 4 years, and I've built my way up the rankings, so I'm right on the doorstep for that. And Terry, rightly so, he was the champion at lightweight, so he slipped in at light welterweight, which, like I said, it's the way things have fallen, so I do hope he wins, so it'd be a little easier to make the fight.
How do you feel about that? Because it's kind of a double-edged sword. He slipped in ahead of you in the rankings by virtue of his achievements at the lower weight, which means your title shot might be easier to come by because you're with the same promoter and in the same city. But he's also gone ahead of you in the pecking order. So is that a double-edged sword? What are your feelings?
I don't pay it too much attention, I think, because I've got a fight scheduled for Saturday night. Ultimately, that's where all my focus is. But again, he was world champion at lightweight, so that's the way boxing works. He automatically gets his number 1 spot at the weight above, so he deserves it, I guess. For me, probably, it just, I won't even say it delays the process, it's just the way it works, so I'll still be working my way towards that top spot.
Does it concern you at all that the Flanagan fight with Anthony Crolla, for example, both in the same city, even went to the same school, at the same weight, talked about for a long time, never came to fruition? Or is the fact that you share a promoter give you reason to be confident the fight will happen for you?
Yeah, I'm confident the fight will happen. I know Frank in the past likes to fight his guys together, which over the years he's done quite frequently. We're under the same promoter, so I don't see why the fight can't happen.
And looking at the division as a whole, they're talking about super lightweight being WBSS, World Boxing Super Series division for the next round that starts quite soon. Did you ever have any discussions about being a part of that?
Not as of yet, but obviously I know a lot of the obviously the seeded guys with the world titles will get their shout, and then there'll be a few other fighters who get their shout. I'd be more than open to the opportunity of going in there. I'd take it with open arms, but just have to wait and see who they announce to put in it.
So with that in mind, are you a fan of the concept? And if so, what is it that you like so much about it?
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. It's been interesting to watch over the last couple of months. I just like how ultimately it's the best fight the best. So once the competition comes to an end, you know who the super champion is.
And looking at the weight division, Terence Crawford obviously moved up, which left a bit of a vacuum, lots of vacant belts being disputed, which I'm sure has helped you and a number of other young contenders move up. What do you see as the big, aside from Flanagan, who we've discussed, the big marquee fights for you at the weight? Not necessarily the best fighters, but the ones who are going to create the biggest buzz and get the biggest crowds Who are you going to fight?
There's a lot of fights, and I can't really pick anybody individual, but there's a lot of fights domestically as well that would make for great fights and get a big audience. And then worldwide again, there's a lot of, I'm in a great weight division where there's a lot of good fighters, so I'm confident in the future that I can be in these great fights.
You talk about big domestic fights, and we've said that you and Flanagan share a promoter. You also obviously share a promoter with O'Hara Davis, who you've been asked about a number of times in the past. He's been quite vocal in the past couple of weeks, criticising the lack of profile with Flanagan. Clearly, and you know, for anyone watching, trying to nail that fight down with Flanagan. Does it annoy you in the sense that you may consider him below you, but he's trying to kind of step ahead and get that Flanagan fight first?
No, not really. I think if you pay attention to somebody else's career and what they're doing, you're taking your eye off your own focus. I'm focused on me. Likewise, he needs to do what he does to focus on him, which is talk rubbish about all the other fighters. So I'll leave him to do that. I'm focused on me, and I'm confident in my fights and where I'm heading to. So, and if our paths cross, then I'm confident I'll come out that fight victorious as well.
Just on that note, you're quite soft-spoken. You're not someone who talks a lot of trash. Terry Flanagan's very similar. O'Hara Davis is the complete opposite. Why are you like that? And also, does it help you if an opponent is going to be the trash-talking type, because it helps sell the fight, whereas you can just get on with what you're doing and training?
I don't know if it helps or not. I guess my job is to fight and enjoy boxing. My job's not to talk loads of trash. I'll do my talking in the ring. I think maybe with him it might be a double act, I don't know, but like I said, I don't pay too much attention to that. And
just to round off, people that haven't seen you fight before and maybe thinking about watching you this weekend or even in the future, describe your style to them and what they can expect from you.
Yeah, I'm a southpaw fighter. I like to be able to believe I can do everything in the ring. I've got a decent knockout ratio. I can box on the front foot, on the back foot. I like to think I've got skills, so come down Saturday night and be putting a good performance for everyone.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jack. Really appreciate it.
Nice one. Thank you.